Strauss Zelnick's with me, the CEO of Take-Two Interactive. Knows all about this. The makers of Grand Theft Auto, NBA 2K, one of the all amongst the most popular games out there. Joins me from Bedford Hills in New York. Right, sir. There is no opportunity to stand on the fence or sit on the fence. Where do you stand on this battle? Are they right, Epic, in taking on Apple and Google over these in-app purchases? Is it time for change?
You know what? I think our view is that we try to be friends with all distributors, and we distribute our products widely. We want to be where the consumer is. So generally speaking, I wouldn't be in favor of using litigation as a business tool. I do think that, and I've said this before, I think that as the world opens up, as there are more opportunities for distribution through other services, for example, Epic's own service, that the terms of distribution will and have to change. And those terms will become more friendly to publishers like ourselves. At the same time, what really matters is the consumer experience. So what we're looking for is to optimize the business terms, of course, and to optimize the consumer experience, with the latter, frankly, being more important. But generally speaking, you know, we try to conduct business on an ongoing basis, and we resort to litigation rarely, if at all.
Right, but the numbers that you brought out today, the numbers, your latest numbers, I should say, they show gaming obviously a huge rise for you over the pandemic period. I guess at one level, I'm not surprised, but at the same time, it does raise the question, where to next?
I think it's a great question. And the first thing is to register, and you, of course, know this well, that we're in the midst of a very tragic situation for most people. Never mind the tragedy of loss of life, but also the tragedy of sickness and the economic privations that have affected so many people. So we have to put this in context before we talk about how well we're doing. Yes, we are doing well in this context because people are at home with time on their hands and they're consuming more entertainment. We don't necessarily expect that that will continue. We certainly wouldn't bake that into our numbers. However, it does seem that there's a systemic shift from linear entertainment to interactive entertainment as people realize what we have to offer, which is, in addition to a visual experience and a gameplay experience, we offer a social experience. You can actually talk with your friends around the world and create new friends while you play our games and have our experiences. And I think people are realizing that's really extraordinary, and particularly extraordinary when you're stuck at home.
Right, but you're just reading from your release, and this comes back to what we were saying earlier. You say nearly 7 years after its initial release, the title Grand Auto Theft has now sold nearly 135 million units. Therefore, the future of distribution channels and related costs such as in-app purchases is very significant, particularly if this, I mean, it won't grow as fast, but these numbers continue to grow.
Absolutely. It is very significant. And as I said, as the opportunities broaden and as virtually all companies in the space go direct to consumer, as Epic has, as Rockstar Games, our division, has, then that will put pressure on the terms of engagement, unquestionably.
My apologies, of course, it is Grand Theft Auto. I look down and miss in the moment. But
that's
what
okay.
do people want?
We'll take it either way.
Well, I thought with 130. Hey, listen, with 135 million units sold, one less from me ain't going to make much difference. But don't call you early for breakfast. And look, at the end of the day, sir, the amount of money spent developing these, the user experience in playing them, the idea now of multi-user, where do you take it next from a user perspective?
Well, it's such a great question. I mean, we pride ourselves at all of the labels that comprise Take-Two Interactive of delivering the highest quality experiences. Our strategy is to be the best creatively, the most efficient, and the most innovative company in the entertainment business. So where we go from here is always trying to deliver something that is better, broader, and something that consumers never seen before. In my experience in entertainment, the biggest hits are the ones that are least expected. You have to surprise and delight consumers with everything you bring out. And that's why all of our titles are working, from Grand Theft Auto to Red Dead Redemption to NBA 2K to Borderlands, Civilization, and the rest of our catalog, which is performing incredibly well. In the past quarter, our net bookings were just shy of $1 billion. Recurrent consumer spending was up 127% year over year. You mentioned the unit sales of Grand Theft Auto. The basketball title is sold in 14 million units, Borderlands 10.5, Red Dead Redemption 2, 32 million units. These are astonishing numbers.
Absolutely astonishing. Anybody who thinks that gaming is just a little bit of something that people do in their spare time, it might be on the individual basis. But, sir, I'm very grateful that you were with us to help put that into perspective. And we'll talk again as the year moves on. I appreciate you giving us time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.